Good evening, this is Kuro. Got a tier 10 game in my tier 9 Yugumo. This will be my ranked commentary for Yugumo for this upcoming uh, arms race mode of ranked battles, I guess you would call it. Going over the matchmaking, we're looking at Missouri, Des Moines, potentially a Neptune, a Donskoy rounding out the radar threats, and destroyer-wise, we're looking at an enemy Gearing, Shimakaze, and an enemy Yugumo facing us. I spawn over on ACAP, and pretty much it doesn't make any sense in my opinion for me not to at least push up to ACAP. Speaking of this map, I feel like ACAP is a rather weak cap, so I don't get terribly invested in trying to get ACAP. It's easier for you to take C and then use these island positions to basically support B cap and flip it. You get teammates in here and here and here and here, and it gets to be really easy to flip B cap. And then with these positions up here, your team clears out, the enemy spawn, and you basically wall this off. Um, you basically seal the map off, and it's all over. That's the way to correctly play this version of 3-cap domination. Clan Battles has different cap locations, and the Clan Battles version is more interesting to play, in my opinion. But getting the map out of the way, Yugumo, the ghost of Tier 9. She's got the best concealment out of any of the Tier 9 destroyers. That is going to be a boon for her if you play her like I'm doing here, basically sneaking into, if this was a circle that had bonuses for the team, basically sneaking up, seeing what the enemy DDs are doing, and this is kind of like a persistent, radar, uh, where any DD that isn't a Yugumo, or in the case of Arms Race, doesn't have, as many concealment bonuses to offset your superior concealment, you've got them. I mean, you just zone them out. You spot them, let your team shoot at them, and if your team's doing their thing, they will chip away at the enemy destroyer until he's weak enough. You can just, simply finish him off and get him out of the way. I throw some perspective RPF torpedoes out here. Yugumo has a fantastic torpedo reload. In ranked, honestly, I would be running F3s. Um, I F3s, I get more utility out of the faster reload. It's more, capture point focused. Um, Now I'm not sure if that's gonna, stick or not for arms race, but I probably will run Yugumo a little bit, just because I do like the ship. Uh, and I'm probably gonna run her with F3s initially. F3s, and in my opinion, there's not gonna be a lot of reasons to play smoke. If if you're up against, a bunch of radar destroyers, smoke's not going to be valuable. Uh, you know, Chungmu would basically play the spotting version of Yugumo better with its radar. The difference is a Chungmu, it can basically negate this spotting advantage 4 times over the course of the game. Yugumo does this persistently, and you can see some of, the spotting threat that I'm presenting. I didn't get credited with a lot of that spotting damage, but that Donskoy got hung out because I pushed up and spotted him before he could get safe. He basically misplayed, and instead of coming this way around the island, came the dangerous way down here. My Republic came up and just chunked him down. And, just that fast, I'm going to push right into B cap. Why give the enemy, any sort of, capture control? Um, my positioning, if I'm, controlling the caps, I'm going to force the enemy into me, and that's advantageous because if the enemy's pushing into me, my torpedoes become much, much more effective. And that's really one of the primary functions of a Japanese destroyer. Take control of the capture points, force the enemy to push into you, and then you've got your pick of, torpedo shots at guys. Those are some low probability torps, but, you know, it is what it is. He might smoke up, he might not. I expect this to be the Yugumo, since I haven't spotted anything. The gearing was spotted over here, the Shimo over here. I don't think the Shima could have made it over here in time. Um, so the downside to that is it's going to be just a straight up gunfight between, an identical ship to mine. So not going to waste any time. Let's just get it on, get the guns into action. Looks like he's shooting AP. That's an error in this destroyer. Um, if you're shooting another Yugumo, it's over pen central. It's so hard to get AP pins on these DDs that, it's not worth it. Get a couple good volleys into that Yugumo, and I'm just gonna disengage here. I've got, a rune that he's hit me pretty good a couple times. I'm just gonna drop off. By dropping off, I'm locking in that HP trade advantage that, we just picked up. I traded 25% of my HP for 75% of that Yugumo. And that's a fairly effective trade. Thinking about dropping torps on this Neptune. Think that Neptune's being radared, so just holding off, seeing if he's going to abandon the smoke. Now what I'm doing right here, I expect that Yugumo to come back. So I'm putting my stern towards him. It keeps most of my gun power pointed at him. It also minimizes the torpedo threat. If he's trying to torp me with RPF or just some predictive torps. Me being stern into him, I'm much harder to actually hit and torpedo. Soon as I left the cap, he did what I thought he was going to do. He stepped in. Now this is a misplay because you look at how close all of this support is on my team. His Neptune just died. His rune's been pushed away. His Yamato's, doing Yamato things. And it's leaving me an opportunity just to push this guy. I already know I have an HP advantage. This is just good destroyer play right here. Get a big ol' hit on him right here. That's all that Japanese alpha on the guns, followed by some retarded dispersion because why not wargaming? And we end up picking up the kill on him. I slam on the brakes to avoid, any potential torpedoes. That destroyer kill pretty much secures a B cap for us. I know there's a Shima out here somewhere. That's a cheeky ass blind shot there. Don't think I didn't see what you were doing. No, that's a guy he's using the indicator on the mini map, and he's using that to guesstimate my position, and he just got lucky there with that shot, and that's a sign of a skilled player if he can take blind shots like that and even get that close to you, it's that takes some skill there. So, I'm liking it. Now what I'm doing right here, I'm slamming on the brakes. I want to see if this Des Moines tries to reverse around the island. I want to, be able to spot this Des Moines, so I'm going to start backing up. I've got torpedoes cooking on the Yamato, and he's going to dodge or attempt to dodge some of these torps. It'll slow him up, so I think these torps will catch him, even though it looks like he's, accelerating right now. And I mean, Japanese torps, they're massive. But this is why torpedo reload. Just, repeated nasty volleys. If I hit this guy and even flood him once, he's got unrepairable flooding. Just, it's a world of hurt. And they steal that kill from me, unfortunately. So, torpedo reload and the persistent concealment is what's going to set this ship apart from a lot of the other destroyers. If you're playing torpedo reload, you play in front of your team. You're basically leading your team in across the map. That way you can't be YOLO rushed by another destroyer effectively. Uh, you're going to be doing a lot of kiting, that kind of thing. I would even consider dropping, you know, uh, down to the stock gunfire control system so you can disengage when you use your guns quicker. There's a lot of things that you can do to help improve that situation. Have some really annoying accuracy issues right here. I'm aiming slightly too high and just not calculating his turns very well at the moment. That's better. But, you know, F you, I've got torps. And that closes out the game. Yugumo, I think that she's going to be a strong ship. For guys that know how to play the Japanese destroyers well, if you can Japanese DD, Yugumo is basically going to be heaven on earth. Especially with the uh, HE alpha buff. It's nasty. I mean, you saw that one, what was that? 3.5, 3.6, uh, a 3.5, 3.6k volley on a DD. If you're playing these ships enough, um, you're going to be hitting ships, that hard pretty consistently. Um, so, this is a ship that I do recommend. Uh, you're going to live and you're going to die by your ability to play your concealment, knowing when to use your guns, when not to, um, when just to ride out, short-term detections, and basically bait an enemy DD to shoot at you so you can, just scooch just outside of their range and, you force them either to eat 20 seconds of potential damage or force them into using a smoke, which on something like black, if you can force their smoke and their radar out of sync, it potentially opens up new avenues for you where you can push those guys and not deal with a smoked up, um, radar ship. Same thing with Z46. If you can bait their smoke out of sync with their hydro, that DD becomes much easier to deal with, in the next couple minutes, and you can play aggressive against them, and you've got a real chance at killing or crippling that destroyer. So Here's Yugumo. I think both builds are going to be viable. You know, whether it's torpedo reload, whether it's, you know, you're running smoke. If you struggle with the Japanese play style, kiting DDs, that kind of thing, for the love of God, take the smoke. Uh, because it will save you. And the smoke does create opportunities where if you bait somebody's smoke out, now you have your own smoke. You bait another fight with him where you've got a spotter that can keep that destroyer lit. You smoke up as soon as he shoots at you, and you're just hammering that guy with that HE. Um, that's like standard destroyer tactic. You know, running it on a smoky Gumo, it works really well. Uh, you know, the flip side is, you know, run a hit and run with, you know, torpedo reload and have the extra torpedo DPM that the enemy team needs to deal with. Uh, you know, both ways are viable. The ship's going to play a little different either which way. My personal preference, I find torpedo reload um, a little better for me because I'm pretty comfortable playing without smoke, and also I'm very comfortable getting my torpedoes um, to get out there and have some pretty ridiculous torpedo hit rates. With this ship, I'm usually always around 9 to 10% torpedo hit rate. Um, so, Yugumo. She's going to be something that's going to be really interesting to watch, especially if guys man up and they're running the F3s like I probably might. Um, let me know what you guys think. Hope you guys are having a good day, and I will talk to you later.